Okay, cool. Ray BLK, good to meet you.
It's good to meet you.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm really tired.
What have you been doing? Why are you tired?
My sleeping pattern's just been really bad recently.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't get to sleep. And I've tried it all. Like, I put it on Twitter and everyone's like, meditate, do this, do that, do that. But I think I've just got a lot on my mind and I can't get to sleep.
Like what?
Life, finishing an album, life. Yeah.
No, so like as we were just speaking, and you know, it's amazing to have you here. I think you've made incredible waves already in the scene, but at the same time I feel like you're just starting. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like I've made a name for myself, definitely, and built like a foundation.
Definitely.
But I feel like it's still really early in my career because I guess I haven't dropped an album yet. And I feel like the stuff that I have released, I was still finding my way. So for me, it still feels quite new, even though people, I guess, know me.
Yeah. How did it sort of start for you? Because I know you studied English literature and you're you're influenced by like the character of Havisham. Was it the Carol Ann Duffy poem, or was it the play, the story?
I think for me it was the story. That poem actually was really quite influential, but the story I would say mainly, just because I felt like it was so relatable to just a lot of girls, a lot of women, really. Period. Like a lot of people are scorned and. I feel like after every single breakup or relationship issue, girls are like, you know what, I'm done with guys. I hate them, and go on like a man hate tirade for like 2 months or something post breakup. And that was my mood at the time. So I decided to name my first mixtape that.
Yeah, and can you talk to me a bit about that? Because obviously it was quite I listened to it earlier, and it's obviously, you know, it's quite a sort of sad overtone to it. Was that sort of your first experience of recording music and doing music for yourself?
So it isn't actually. I made an album when I was 10 years old.
10?
Yeah, but...
How do you make an album when you're 10?
So, I know, right? It sounds bad. So, I don't know if they do it in all the boroughs in London, but they had this scheme called Gifted and Talented scheme, where they would choose students who were talented or gifted at a particular subject in schools. So during the summer holidays, you would then like get the time to hone in on that talent or skill, like whether it was maths, English or whatever. And I got chosen to do it for music because one of my teachers realised that I could sing because I was in like the school choir. And so I spent my summer holidays making an album.
That's incredible.
Yeah, which was so dope.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you went on to make...
And then I went on to make Havisham, like, 11 years later or something.
Right, okay.
But along the way, I was still, like, writing music and stuff behind the scenes, like, with my friends that I went to school with. But I guess that was my first ever, like, project thing that I had put out, and honestly I was just winging the whole thing. Yeah.
What was it about music then, like, because obviously you then decided to sort of pursue it fully, or was it always in the back of your mind to do that?
No, always. I feel like from the second I saw, like, my first memory is seeing Michael Jackson on TV because my dad was really obsessed with him. And I feel like from the second I saw that Michael Jackson video, I think the Just Can't Get Enough video, I was like, I want to do that because he looks so cool, and I want to be so cool just like him. And then I just became so obsessed with like music and music videos, and so from really young I knew I wanted to do it, but I guess I went the traditional route because it was safe, and I'm African, and like African families don't play when it comes to education.
Yeah, neither do Indian families.
Yeah, it's like they don't play. So my mum was like, "Yeah, do your singing thing, your acting thing, but you're gonna go to school. Do that on the side, but you're definitely gonna go to uni." So,
definitely.
Yeah.
So then you went to uni, and what did you study at uni?
Yeah, English literature.
Okay. Sick.
Yeah.
And do you feel like English has played like a big part and influenced you a lot in your music or your content?
Definitely. I think it influences the way I write, because I'm such a lover of stories and of poetry, and I'm a bit of a nerd, like a neek when it comes to those things. Like I used to actually really enjoy analysis.
So did I.
I used to love it.
Love when you had to like do circle shit.
Yeah,
and, like,
circle and the breakdown
yeah.
and be like, this means this, and she's drawing inspiration from the sunlight
100%.
and all of that deep
Yeah,
stuff.
come up with the wildest like analogies.
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like that was actually my favorite thing to do from school. So I feel like it influenced the way I write lyrics, because like when I write a song, I always go over the lyrics. I'm like, does this make sense? What am I communicating? Am I saying things exactly how I want to say it? And I would say I write kind of in a story form sometimes. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. And you just mentioned like you watching Michael Jackson and MTV and stuff there. Who else was sort of playing in your house, and like what other sort of music were you influenced by?
I was really influenced by gospel.
Okay.
Growing up, because I come from a really religious family, so I was raised in the church, and I was in the adult choir from like 10 years old. Wow. Like singing every Sunday and Wednesday at church, and always being played in the house. I grew up on Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. I always say they taught me how to sing, because I would listen to my mum's Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey CDs. Those two and Mary J. Blige were like the only secular artists my mum listened to.
Yeah.
So I would listen to their CDs and like practice the riffs and runs they were doing. So yeah, it was those two and Mary J. Blige, who is like my queen.
Yeah. What is it about her?
Honestly, I feel like it was because of seeing my mum's connection to her music, and then me having just, I don't know, like an emotional attachment to it, but not really an understanding of what she was saying, because I was really young. But then, because it's such a big part of my childhood, I kept listening to it. As I grew older, I'm like, oh, I understand what she's talking about.
Do you think that's really weird that as like children we can develop attachments to like certain pieces of art that we don't understand?
Yes. It's just because it's a feeling attached to it. Like there's the same thing with food. I say like the food you grow up with, it might not be the best food or the best tasting food or whatever. Like, you know, you grow up and you have all these cuisines and Japanese and whatever, but there's just a safe space or a nice warm feeling you have when you have that food from home. So I feel like that's what I felt with that music. Like it's nostalgic for me. But then when I got older, I'm like, I understand what PMS is now. Like I get it when Mary J. Blige was singing about PMS. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. And then at what stage did it become like, okay, I'm actually going to do music full time now? Was there a specific moment? Did something happen? Like, what was it?
So, so I finished uni, and I think I dropped my mixtape literally the month I finished uni, I think.
Really?
Yeah, because that was my plan. I had a whole plan in my head. I was like, okay, it's your last year of uni, what are you going to do? Like, I'm not trying to be at a desk because I'll go mad. I need to get into music, so I need to finish this mixtape, drop this mixtape. And then I had this, and I was just so sure in my head that the plan was going to work out. I was going to finish uni and I was going to sign a record deal, and that was it. It was all going to happen. But then I finished uni, and then I went into a grad job. So I was doing PR for like 8 months and going crazy for 8 months. Like I hate this hellhole so much.
Really?
And like I was going to the studio in the evenings and then going to work in the daytime until it was like Christmas time, and I signed my publishing deal, and I was like, I'm out here, suckers. Bye. Literally.
During those 8 months, what were you like waiting for something, or was it just a personal thing where you needed to be ready, or was it just your music wasn't ready? What was it?
I was honestly just waiting for a check. I was waiting for a check because, like, I really respect people who take that leap to go into, like, a career field where they're not making money or whatever, not know what's going to happen. I personally, always knew I can't do that because I really like nice things. Like, I like feeling comfortable and being able to buy the things I like to buy and go out for dinner. So I was like, I would love to quit this job and just focus on music, but I can't because I like feeling comfortable and like safe financially. So really, I was just waiting to be in a financial position to not be at this job anymore and focus. So getting my publishing deal was honestly such a blessing for me, because it helped me do my art as well by myself without having to have a record deal as well and having to work.
Okay. And then what?
And then
sorry, just to keep it like
and then so I signed my publishing deal, and then I guess I just actually could be in the studio and not be so tired all the time because I was going to work in the day and studio at night. So I was just making music full time, and made my first music video,
which was
50-50. It was a song called 50-50, and yeah, then things just started rolling from there, and it was like single after single. I'm not gonna lie, it felt like a whirlwind because I was kind of thrusted into this new world and had to pretend that like everything made sense and I got what was going on. Like, okay, so you do promo and you do this and you do that, and I'm just like, okay. Yeah.
And then you release 50-50, and that does create like a sort of big wave for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you notice a shift in energy, or sort of how far you thought you could take it after that?
I think, yeah, I always had like the hope and dream of taking it far and the belief that I would, but when that happened, honestly, I was really shocked because I expected it to be a lot slower, really, because I didn't know how the industry worked, first and foremost. So I was like, how do you even share this music? How do people hear it? And so I was just surprised, like, oh my God, like people know my song, and like they're singing it and they're coming to a show, and yeah, things just started happening. I think I was really surprised and overwhelmed. And I remember saying to my manager as well, like, is this normal? Like, is this how it's supposed to go? Because I don't feel like this is normal. And he was like, yeah, no, this isn't normal. Yeah.
Mad. And then what about the art at this point then? So like, how have you seen your art develop from when you made that first like mixtape to like 50-50, and then obviously My Hood, and then what came after that?
Wow, I feel like I've developed so much in terms of like my sonic and my writing as well, and honestly I think that comes from just really trying new things and working with different people, because I've worked with a bunch of different sorts of producers. I think over time, from my mixtape, I really just like, I grabbed the beats from YouTube, like I ripped them, apologies if I ripped your beat, and made the songs like that. So being in sessions with another person and like being part of the development of the beat was a new experience for me, and then just finding out what sound I wanted was a process, because I worked with like some dance producers, pop producers, R&B, hip hop. So I feel like
it's very eclectic, like especially early stuff. What about the sort of content?
Like the videos?
No, like the lyrics and the sort of what you're talking about.
Oh yeah. Do you know what? I don't feel like that's changed.
I don't think it has. I wanted to ask what you thought, but I don't think it's changed either.
I don't think my lyrical content has changed. Maybe the way I say things. Yeah, my delivery has changed a lot and developed a lot. And I feel like my songwriting has gotten so much better as well, which I'm really happy about. Yeah, but I be saying the same, same shit.
It's good that it works. And
yeah,
and obviously it's just personal to you. So
yes, exactly. Yeah.
How did My Hood come about?
So I had a session with this producer called Courage, and I remember not wanting to be there as well. And to any artist listening to this, when you have those days where you don't want to go to studio, honestly just force it, because you don't know what's gonna come out.
Right.
I was so tired, and it was actually, I think still at the time, maybe when I was working my day job, and it was like a rainy evening, and I literally just threw it down really, really quickly. Like, I remember sitting there and being like, okay, let me just bang this out. What would Drake do? Drake would just say something simple and repeat it, like, my hood, my hood, my hood. And that's literally how it came out. And he was like, my producer, he was like, I think there's something there, you know. I was like, you know, them ones you're just trying to leave. I was like, yeah. Save that in it, like, we'll finish that another time. And then my manager heard it and was like, no, there's something here. Like, you need to finish this song. And so I finished it, and then actually like fell in love with it and was like, oh my God, I'm so happy I went to this session. And then I hit up Stormzy about it, like, yo, I've got this song. Yeah.
Okay.
So I knew him from before, just like from the ends and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, there's this song, I really, really want you on it. Like, honestly, I didn't think he was gonna have time because he was popping from early.
What year was it? 2015.
This was
2014.
2015. 2015 we recorded it. He was like
bubbling then. He was
definitely, like he had made a name for himself, like in the end, but then it was becoming kind of mainstream as well. And then he was like, yeah, I love the song, cool, like I'm there. And we made the song. My manager was like, I feel like he couldn't even wrap his head around it, like, you've done this song, you've got Stormzy on it, you've done another song and Wretches on it. Like, how is this all happening? I feel like early on I was really lucky to just cross paths with amazing people and for them to collaborate with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you know what you were making?
What I was making? What do you mean?
As in, did you know the impact it would have and the sort of where it would take?
No way.
No?
No, not at all. Not at all. I remember when I released that project, so those songs were on Dirt, I remember thinking, this is a bit shit.
Really?
Yeah, because I've always been really hard on myself when it comes to my music. And I remember just thinking, like, is this good? Like, I don't get why people think this is so good, because I just didn't. I don't know. I like to push myself and make the best thing possible. And I definitely like it now, when I liked the songs at the time, but I was like, is this good enough? Like, I can do more songs, I can do better songs. But I think that's because I was so focused on like the future Ray BLK, like what I could be doing and how I could make things sound, but it's all a process to get there.
So just mentioning that, so like obviously for the fans and listeners it worked, but for you felt like it wasn't really your best.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a position where you felt like you've had to, I don't like the word, but compromise your art for the sake of how far it could go or how successful it could be?
Oh yeah, definitely. I felt that pressure around the time when I won the BBC Sound Poll, which was a huge deal for me, and at the time I don't think I understood how huge a deal it was. And then I think from there I just had a lot of people in my ear saying certain things because of the expectation that came with winning the Sound Poll. Usually, I guess traditionally, I don't know, maybe these people expect that they're going to win it or something, and they have a whole album prepared prior where me and my manager were literally just winging this thing. Like, we were just vibes in and releasing good music. So I didn't have no album, no nothing ready, and people were like, okay, you need to work with like this type of people, that type of people. And I was being put into sessions with like Adele's producer and Sam Smith's producer and whatever. And like, they're obviously sick in their own right, but that's just not my sound as an artist. But everyone was just like, yeah, like, you know, you just need to make like a big pop smash and whatever. And yeah, there was a lot of pressure to do that. And like, yeah, I eventually, I think you just succumb to it because you're like, these people are supposed to know what's right, you know? They're supposed to be like the experts and like the person who does radio. It's like, you know, radio won't play this, or this is the type of song they want from you. So I feel like I did give in, and I did a TED talk last year, and I spoke about it, one of my songs called Doing Me. Okay. And I really hate that song. I really hate it. Artists never say they hate their own music.
No, it's like, I've never heard that.
Yeah, because it's like, you have to think you're so amazing all the time. But like, that song for me, I'm like, no, that's trash, because I didn't connect with it at all, and I felt like it wasn't authentically me. Okay. And I think it was a learning curve, because I was like, you know what, I need to always be proud of the stuff I'm putting out and feel like it represents me. So yeah, that was a turning point.
And during that stage where it was a bit did it have a personal impact?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely, because you just start second guessing yourself. I think having attention, mainstream attention or whatever, it's like a blessing and a curse. Like, it's amazing that people are like hailing you up and stuff, but I think then there's this expectation, and you just start second guessing everything you wouldn't have before, where I would just be like, yeah, I've vibe with this song, man, I think this song's hard, we should release it like as a single. Then everything becomes a much bigger conversation. Like, is it the right sound? Is it the right way to go next? And is this what, will people be surprised? Instead of just going with what feels right and what sounds good, everything starts becoming a bit mechanical when you just, second guess yourself and your art and your abilities.
I feel like artists do that anyway, though.
Yeah, true. Naturally, you do that. But I think with attention or anything like that, I think comes even more pressure. Yeah.
100%. And then I think, am I right in thinking that there was a deal on the table, or the labels were interested in you after that, or was it before?
Yeah. So the label I'm with now, Island Records, actually were interested before I released my EP Dirt. So I sat down with Benny Scars, shout out Benny Scars, and Darkus. So Benny brought me in and was like proper hailing me up to Darkus, and he heard the music and loved it and wanted to sign me. Yeah. But I just wasn't in the right place to sign a record deal at that time. Okay. So God bless Darkus. He gave me some like money, no strings attached at all, and he meant it, and was like, okay, here's like 15k. Make your first music video, get some press, do your thing, get a name for yourself and all of that. And just like, only thing I want is when you're ready to sign a deal, just come and see me first as well. Wow. Like, let's sit down and talk about it. And we're like, okay, cool. But yeah, so I sat down with a few labels, but I didn't, sign anything until 2018. And
then you did that, and then you release your next project.
Yes.
Which was?
Empress. Yeah.
Amazing project. Kicks off with Run Run, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The video to that gives goosebumps.
Thank you.
What inspired you to address that particular issue?
So when I made the song, I feel like youth violence wasn't really as much of a talking point. I made it, I think, in like 2016 actually, and I honestly was just talking about my reality. Like, I was just talking about what I see, where I'm from, and my experiences. And then when it was like, okay, do you know what? I think I'm going to release this next. Like, the level of crime and youth violence and gun violence then was just like soaring and actually becoming like a big conversation in the media. And I was like, you know what? I think it would be amazing to make a video around this, but to change the narrative a bit, because I felt like it was in the media just portrayed as like these young black boys, they're just running around with knives and like killing each other, do you know what I mean? Like, it was just very it was painting us, I think, in a really negative light, and I felt like it was necessary to show the bigger picture that, first of all, nobody actually wants this life. Nobody wants to be in a gang on the road selling drugs. Like, that's no one's passion in life.
No, of course.
And that honestly, a lot of these situations are circumstantial. Like, when you come from a surrounding where you feel trapped and you feel like there's no other way out and no other option, this is what life becomes for you. Yeah. So we created that sort of dystopia.
Amazing. And that just leads me to ask you, like, what is your deepest motivation?
That's a good question. Actually, I spoke about this yesterday. My deepest motivation is two things. One, I feel really passionate about representing, a marginalised group of people, being young black women, and I'm really motivated to represent them properly and just fly the flag and work hard and put out the best music I can possible and just represent my people. And then my other motivation, honestly, is just to make amazing music. Okay. I'm such a fan, like a huge fan of music. Like, I'll listen to anything. If it's good, I don't care what genre it is, I'll listen to it. And I'm just so inspired by incredible art, and I'm like, I have to level up. That's always what I say to myself, like, nah, that's too mad, I've got to like make something new. Like, what, Kendrick Lamar's album's too mad, I have to make my album all over again. Like, I'm that sort of person.
Amazing. What's next? Because you recently released a single with Chip.
Yes.
Is that off a project?
Action. So,
Can you disclose that information?
No, I guess I can disclose that now. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah, no. It was a single that I made, I guess really prior to me getting into album mode.
Okay.
So it was kind of like to set that up while I was focused on working on the album.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is next?
So yeah, my debut album.
Yeah,
my debut
okay.
album.
What can you tell us about it?
What can I say? I've been saying the sound is trap and B. So
Trap and B. Okay,
yeah,
I've never heard that expression.
Oh,
yet.
I've coined something.
Okay.
Everyone coins their own
Trap
thing.
and B,
Yeah,
okay,
like,
I like
Bryson Tiller's got trap soul. People say Afro swing, all of that. So
yeah.
for me, I feel like I make trap and B music. It's like trap and R&B. Because honestly, that's what I've listened to. Like that's my main playlist. Is literally trap music, R&B. That's it.
Who's in your playlist?
Yeah. Who's in my playlist? Loads of Bryson Tiller, loads of Kehlani, Summer Walker, Tory Lanez. You know, I tweeted that today actually. I've recently realised I'm a huge Tory Lanez fan. Like I didn't know.
I feel like I'm sleeping on him.
You're sleeping. You are sleeping. And he always says it as well. And I used to think like, my guy, calm down. Like he would always be like,
because he did say it.
Yeah.
I feel like personally, maybe I shouldn't have, but I boxed him and say it.
Yeah. A lot of people did.
Yeah.
A lot of people definitely did. And he's always like, yo, I'm mad underrated. Like, I'm so underrated. And I'm like, my guy, chill. But after listening to his catalogue, I'm like, nah, for real, he's mad underrated. Like, he's incredible. Right. I'm a new school artist. So, like, Drake, all of that stuff, all the new artists I'm listening to.
Have you ever had a moment, like, in the last few years where you've sort of had, like... you've been in a situation which you thought was like unbelievable, or you wouldn't have even thought it would be possible? Mm-hmm. Have you ever had that?
Yeah, definitely. I've had a few. My first situation I would say was being in studio with will.i.am.
Mad.
That was really mad and random because he reached out personally to work together. And I was just so baffled by it. Like, why does will.i.am want to work? Why does he even know who I am? Why does he want to work with me? And we got in studio and he told me the best story ever. So he was like, and you know, I don't know if you've ever seen him on The Voice, but he's like super, like a big character. He's like, so I was on The Voice, right? And I was working with this girl. And, you know, we had the competition going on where they had to do the head-to-head. And she really wanted to do this song called My Hood. And I didn't know the song, and they wouldn't let us sing the song because like they've got something on The Voice where like you can only do, I think, like top 10 songs. Yeah. So it's just like a huge commercial song that everyone knows. And the girl apparently she was like crying about it for the whole week because they wouldn't let her sing My Hood. And so he was like, I gotta see the song. So he said, now listen to it. And I was like, damn, I get why she's upset. I'd be upset too. I was like, no, this is the sickest story ever. So he was like, I've got to work with this girl. Like, to see someone so passionate about this song. So yeah, that was mad.
Was that in London? Did he come to London?
No, that was in LA. Yeah, so I was in LA at the time. And then he freestyled for me. That was a mind blowing day. Like we were making a song and he just jumped on the keys and he was like, yeah, I got some words, and he just started freestyling, and the freestyle was a whole song.
Wow.
Like it was a whole song. That made sense. And then my second time was being in studio with Kelly Rowland.
Wow.
That was mental. Yeah.
Did you make anything?
Yeah. We made a song. I think she's gonna release it as well. Actually, she told me like last week.
Royalties coming through.
I'm in that songwriter bag now. So literally, no, that was an amazing day, and I almost left as well, that would have been a huge mistake. But I was so overwhelmed. I've never felt that overwhelmed before. But to be in the presence of somebody who you've looked up to as a child
100%.
and for them to be so graceful and warm, I was really taken aback. So I was like, I don't think I can be here. And I tried to dip, and her manager came out and was like, you can't leave. Like, Kelly loves the song and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I can't deal with this right now. It's too much for me. But yeah, no, so I came back and we finished the song. But I can't believe I actually almost left a whole Kelly Rowland. But it was a lot for me.
Have you ever had Imposter Syndrome?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. That took a lot of time to get over.
Right.
Especially actually after winning the sound poll. I was like, I kept saying to myself, like, oh my God, when are they going to find out I'm a fraud? They're going to find out I'm actually not that good. And I'm a whole fraud and I've tricked them. And I said to my manager, I was like, how have I tricked people into giving me this award? I felt undeserving.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely not undeserving. But
Thank
sorry about that detour. Let's talk about what's coming up, which is the album.
Oh, yeah.
What can you tell us about it? Like, what can we expect from the debut Ray BLK album?
So yeah, trap and R&B. You know, more of a sexy side.
Okay.
I would say, yeah, more of a sexy side that maybe people haven't seen before. And me just being really honest and open about my experiences in relationships and in the industry as well. I feel like that's a conversation a lot of people have been wanting to hear from me, like how I feel as a woman in the industry and black woman in the industry. So
how do you feel?
I feel a lot of things. I feel like it is my superpower because there's not many of us, number one, and I feel like I have a cult following because of it, of people like me and who look like me. But definitely I feel that there are struggles that come along with it, and a lack of support for female artists, period, like across the whole board. Yeah, like even in our urban scene, like it's so amazing to see like rap music, Afro music thriving. But in those spaces, I feel like the support is literally just for the male artists. So it's definitely a struggle. Yeah.
100%. I normally end on 2 questions.
Okay.
For everyone I do this. So the first one is, what was the first piece of music you remember like purchasing or getting hold of, or going into a shop to get? Or
what was my first? Honestly, I think the first album I ever bought was I Am Sasha Fierce. Beyonce's album, yeah, I Am Sasha Fierce. That was the first album I ever bought with my own money anyway.
Yeah. Was there a particular song on there that because you bought it, or?
Sweet Dreams was my favourite. Diva, yeah, that one. And there was 2 more songs. There was a song called, I think, Fall Into You or something. Yeah, that album was, I just loved it, and I loved Beyonce. I still love Beyonce.
Amazing. Yeah. Second and final question, stage or studio?
Oh. I'm gonna say the studio. Yeah, I'm gonna say the studio. Only because I put a lot of pressure on myself for my live shows, because I love going to watch live shows. So I always want to make sure I give an amazing show, because when I go to a dead show, I'd feel it. And I'm like, I never want to do that to people. And I don't put that pressure really on myself in studio. I'm just like enjoying and creating. So yeah, studio.
Amazing. Ray BLK, pleasure.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been good.
Cool. That's it. We've done. Yeah.
Yay.
Awesome.
I hope
Sweet.
it saved.